everybody, this is Caitlin here, and welcome back to Card Game Wednesday, the day of the week where we enjoy all things card game related. And I hope you're all doing well. I hope you all enjoyed any of your box openings that you did, any boosters that you bought and you pulled anything from for Winds of the Omnis Moon, and I hope you've been enjoying all the new cards that we've got from the last part of Rare Cluster. Today we are talking about a little bit of news that dropped, I think it was like a couple of days ago or whatnot, but I wanted to make a video about it this week because obviously last week we were doing box opening, so that already filled in the slot for last week's video. So today we're going to be discussing a little bit of interesting news that's kind of cropped up in regards to the next UK Force of Will Grand Prix. Now, an event has already been made and whatnot on Facebook for the event. I believe it was made a little while ago. It wasn't too long ago, I believe it was made. But it officially states that the next GP will be in London again, and it will be on August 11th, so pretty later on in the year. So I am assuming that we're only going to have 2 GPs this year. Looks like it's very unlikely that the UK is going to get a third one, so same as last year, that we're just going to be getting 2 events and whatnot. But the interesting thing here is, and it was linked to, well, this was like a screenshot that was taken, which I can't actually find the original post anymore, because the original post was apparently made in the event for Force of Will GP London, and one of my friends linked it or whatever, but they said, well, basically that I can't see the post in the actual event anymore. When you go into the event, you can't see this original post unless this was posted elsewhere or something like that. But there was a post detailing that the format for the Grand Prix in August was going to be Wanderer. Specifically, it was going to be a Wanderer format that was taken in the official ban list, plus 1 official ban, which would be Cthugha the Living Flame. Now, this post was posted in, or rather, the post that shared it, or brought it to my knowledge, was shared into our Force of Will Glasgow group. Someone managed to share it because obviously we're keen in like going to the GPs and whatnot, so it would be cool to be informed and everything. And I don't think all of us are part of every single group, whatever, that contains Force of Will. So I think not all of us are in the general UK group, or not all of us are in the Europe-centric group. I know some people aren't in the US group either. So like it's good to share around this knowledge and everything. But this original post I can't actually find anymore on Facebook. I go to look in the Force of Will GP London event, which is where this was apparently originally posted, but I can't see it anymore, so I'm going off of the screenshot. It could change and they might like go back on what they say and whatnot, but as of now it's not listed as the official format on the event. It still just says that the more details are going to come, that the entry is £20 on the day, it's £17.50 pre-register and everything, just details on the venue. It's being held on Dark Sphere again, information about the times and whatnot, and you know, stuff about how to get to the venue and everything, and prizes like first place is a paid invite, second and third unpaid invite, yada yada yada, the various stuff. So, and also first, second and third get gold, silver and bronze card, but we don't know what one it is yet, and a special playmat for all rulers, which I'm assuming is just the same one that we got for the previous GP, because there hasn't been a new design released as of yet. So I mainly want to talk about this interesting tidbit at the potential that this is going to be, and I believe it is, the first Wanderer GP for the UK specifically. Now, in the UK, I feel like our GPs now, we see a lot of more European-centric people coming. So we had, for the last GP, we had a lot of German, we had a lot of Italian, French, Spanish, a huge variety of player base, and I believe at least one person came from America, which is, you know, good shouts there. And I don't think a lot of that were actually UK from that. Well, we wrote down Scotland when we were doing the numbers or whatever, because we had to be representing our pride in our country and everything. But I find it very interesting that potentially it's going to be a Wanderer format, given that I feel like maybe this is maybe less inclined towards newer players. I feel like if you were a player that maybe only started this year or last year, this isn't really the kind of GP for you, and you might be like swayed off of not doing this one because of it. Because if you are obviously a newer player, you've got a hard time getting some of those older cards, like Wanderer format is basically all the way back from Grim Cluster up until now, and I know that getting Grim Cluster cards is a lot harder than, say, getting certain Lapis Cluster or even Rhea Cluster. I know a lot of the Alice Cluster stuff is also kind of hard to get, at least some of the really good stuff. Obviously in Wanderer, I believe Leviton is still banned, if I remember correctly, or Prissy is banned. I think they're both banned in Wanderer still. I'm pretty sure they didn't unban Lev. I know that Reflect Refrain is no longer banned. I need to go over the ban list once more because I know they made a couple of slight changes with the release of Wednesday Ominous Moon. I'm pretty sure Scheherazade herself just got banned in that format, so you won't be seeing her there. But I do find it really interesting that they're potentially going to make it Wanderer, and this really like kind of shies away any newer players from it because obviously they don't have access to a lot of the older cards. They can't make use of some of those older combos and everything, and really this is quite an open playing field, and it's not as set in stone as you might think. Now, people would say, oh, we've had a couple of other Wanderer GPs in America and everything, and the different lists are various, and you would think that you'd have a good idea of what is going on. But honestly, I feel like it's like an open playing field. I immediately thought when I heard Wanderer, I was like, oh great, Gwyber Turbo, Alice World shenanigans are going to happen. But then my friend pointed out that maybe we would actually see a lot more different variation, like apparently Carrick has played a lot in Wanderer, or maybe a bit of Fairer, or Grim is apparently still a pretty popular choice in Wanderer and whatnot, so I'm not too sure how to feel about this. Initially, even before this was announced, I was already saying I don't think it's very likely that I'll be attending this GP in August, for various reasons, in that it's being held in London again, and again, London is very expensive. I know that they prefer to have it in London because it's easier for the Europeans to get flown in and whatnot. It's easier for them to get to, say, London Airport than it is to get to other parts of the country. I personally find it quite hard to travel to London in particular because trains are very expensive, so is flying, and I don't drive. Also, the fact that usually when we travel in quite a decent group, and trying to get anywhere to stay near the actual GP location was pretty difficult. You can tell, obviously, from our vlog from last time that is on my channel if you've not seen it before. We got a hostel and it was a pretty dire situation and whatnot, so that was like the best that we could afford with the budget that we had, and even then we still had to get like a half-hour bus to get to the venue, so you know, we were even still having to get on a bus to even get there, so we were kind of lucky that it was a nice weekend and it wasn't raining or anything like that. But at the same time, it's just like, I don't really want to travel and spend all that money on traveling to go to a GP in a format that I'm not entirely comfortable with no idea what even deck I would build if I were to play Wanderer format, because we don't really play Wanderer in my locals. I think we had one Wanderer tournament one time, and the majority of people ended up playing Gwyber Turbo, I'm pretty sure. I think one person I had was playing Dracula, and then I was playing Pandora into Grimia. But honestly, I wouldn't know what to build in a Wanderer format. I have no idea. Hence why I don't really do a lot of Wanderer videos on my channel. Mainly because we don't play it at my locals, so I've never had the point of trying to think up decks for it, because we never play it. Because most of our newer players don't have access to the older cards, so it's not really fair for us to introduce Wanderer if the majority of our player base really jumped on it like Lapis Cluster. It isn't really fair to them if they don't have access to those cards. So I don't think I'm going to be attending this GP. I think I'm going to give it a skip. Another reason why I think I was going to give it a skip is because it is in August, and after August is September, and September is a very busy month for me. In particular, you've got MCM Scotland happening. I'll be going to both days for that. It's also my birthday month. There's also a lot of games coming out that month specifically that I really want to get. So I think I'm just going to not attend this because I don't really want to spend all that money on something that I'm not really sure of and I'm not really confident in. Like, I felt like I was, like, not semi-confident, but I felt like I knew what I was going into New Frontiers and what I could expect. This, I don't actually know what to expect at all. It is a complete minefield, and I would rather not tread in that minefield. But what do you guys think about this information here about London, or rather the UK's, first Wanderer GP? I don't know if this is officially confirmed because they said the site is going to be updated soon, so I'm not sure whether this is subject to change, whether they're going to go back and say, actually no, it's New Frontiers. I would think that maybe the reason why they're making it a Wanderer format is the potential that there might be early rotation. I doubt that would actually happen though, because obviously this is happening in August. rotation would be happening in September time, technically, when the new cluster starts and when the new starter decks come out. So it would seem a bit silly to like suddenly have early rotation the month before the new stuff comes out. I know that some people would say, oh, maybe that'd be a smart business decision, but then that wouldn't be really good, because then you'd have a rare cluster only format for literally 1 month or 2 months, and that seems a little bit silly. I mean, that could be the reason why they decided to opt for Wanderer, but I don't know, even if it's even possible that they're doing Wanderer with this, because it can change. All these things can change in the span of a couple of months, because it is June now. We are nearly at the end of June into July, so that's still another good whole solid month and a bit for anything to change. So basically, if you are planning on attending this GP, I would have a new Frontiers deck and I would have a Wanderer deck just at the ready, just in case they decide to change it, because I don't know if this is set in stone and everything, and I would hate for people to like get psyched up that this is going to be a Wanderer format, and then at the last minute or like a couple of like days later they go, actually no guys, we changed our mind, we're going back to New Frontier. But what do you think of Wanderer GPs in general? Do you think that they are a good idea to help support older players and their older collections and whatnot, or do you think it's not a really good way to getting newer players into the competitive format and the competitive field, because obviously they don't have access to the older cards? And what do you think about them potentially adding Cthulhu to this ban list? It's not an official ban list, they're just saying that if they are going to be running this Wanderer GP, they will be banning Cthulhu, as well as everything else on the official ban list. Do you think that's a smart move to make? I think the reason for that is potentially because of Carrick and different shenanigans and whatnot. I'm not too sure, but I want to know what you guys think about this. Let me know if you would still consider going to the London GP, even if it is Wanderer, or whether you're reconsidering it because of this news. So until next time, guys, I will see you all. This video was made possible thanks to patrons such as Alucard and Craig McCutcheon.